Hello, what's up guys? This is Ravindra Kanetkar and I welcome you all to the ninth part of the series of videos where we are going to create an e-commerce website fully from scratch. So far up to the previous video, we were able to display all the products in our cart. We were able to do the checkout process. We were able to complete add to cart functionality. We have added or integrated payment mode of Razor Pay. Now we have done lot of different things. Now it's time to rest of the things like deployment process and all these things in the coming two videos, right? So only two videos are going to come, and I was busy in my during my exams. That's why I was not able to complete or create new videos, right? So I'm sorry for that. So without further wasting any time, let's get started, right? So I have already logged in by my test account. Remember, we have created test earlier, so I have already logged in. Now we have two items in our cart. Now remember, we had that issue of order was not coming actually. So like this template tagging method, the function was not getting called, right? So let's fix that one first, right? We were checking if order dot get total item price is there or not, right? And actually we were calling the order directly the order, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm just removing all the spaces here, and we will call order. I'm rewriting this. So in the double parenthesis, right, we need to call that order object. Remember, in the views.py file, when we were calling the order list views, right, we were rendering the order list page, and with order object actually we were returning with order object. So we need to use that order object here dot get total price. So get total price was the function. Remember, in the models.py file we have created this. So get total price, and here we were returning the total, right? It is as simple as that, and we will call the function here, right? And let's try to reload this and should see whether it is working or not. And as you can see here, 11,600, it is perfectly working. So when we increase the number, so it increased to 16,600. When we decrease this, yeah, so it's working properly. And when we click on checkout, we have done lot this process. You have seen this, right? So now we are actually focused in this video to do invoice generation. Okay, so when user completes the checkout process, then he should be directed to the invoice. So his his orders invoice should be generated at the same time, and he should be seen the PDF, or the PDF should be get automatically downloaded, right? So we need that functionality. We were calling this order. Now that this thing doesn't matter. Now let me show you the invoice.html page. So this is my invoice.html page, and you will be you will be confused that what is this. Yeah, we need to see the UI first. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to write some simple URL. This is for just to show you, right, to show you how invoice looks actually. So I will just write invoice here, views.invoice, and name equal to invoice. Now I'm going to remove this in future, right? I'm just going to show you this. Okay, I'm just writing to show you this. Okay, so in the let's go to at the bottom here, and I'm going to write one function with invoice, which will take request obviously, and with which will return render, and in the template section I have created one folder named invoice, and in that we have invoice.html, right? So HTML page here, so we need to change invoice/invoice.html. now let's try to run this, and we will go to the invoice endpoint here. So let's write that invoice, and as you can see here, this is my logo of Coding Katta, and we have this simple good looking invoice, right? Here comes the ID, then created date, all these things. Here is the name of the company. So this is some placeholders are already written there. We are going to change this thing, right? So this is website design. So basically this is item and your price, and this is total item, and this PDF should be generated and should be returned back as a downloadable format, right? we need now what we need to what we are intended to do is all the values of that particular order of that user should appear here, right? Now what we need to do, so invoice id should be what things we need. So after completion of any order, let's do that. Let's try to do that thing. So let's go to checkout process, go for payment and pay now. We will do this thing. You know all this thing. Let's go to proceed, and then let's see net banking, SBI. This is all working in test mode, so you don't need to worry about this, right? So okay, so when you as you can see here, I have written in the views.py file. Where is that? Remember we were calling the handle request function. So actually Razorpay was sending post request to this handle request function URL, right? So we need to capture that URL, and we were printing that URL. If you can remember this, we were printing the payment status here. And as you can see here in the payment status, we have different things. Okay, so order found and all this thing we were just printing for just our purpose, right? So here ID is pay something something, entity payment, amount is there, currency, status, order ID. See, order ID is here, then invoice ID, international, false, method, net banking, right? So test transaction, all this necessary details which were there that need to be corrected was actually here, right? That need to be displayed was coming from that payment status. So what we can do, we can simply forward this payment status object during the invoice generation, right? So we have already invoice ID and all these things, but what we need to do here, what we will do, there are two ways, right? There are two ways. We can pass the object and all that different things during the callback only, right? So when we are request, after this request.station, we were returning this, so we can return this with objects, right? So we can grab that order object, we can grab that model, that particular payment status, and we can pass them into the HTML page. Now we will going to do that thing actually. So in the, where is that, in the order model, we have user, item, start date, order ID, ordered order ID, date of payment, order delivered or received. Okay, so Razorpay order ID, payment ID, and all these different things. We need all things, right? We can delete this payment method. So this is not actually, let's see it has given payment method or not. So in the payment status object, we have a method object. So method object equal to net banking, right? And we can do this. So check ID, I don't think so. What is this? What we can store in place of that is let's suppose we can store the order ID actually. Instead of that invoice, we can store order ID or the Razorpay payment ID in this check, in place of this check h1 tag, right? In this check tag we can store that, and we will see this. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is, in the views.py file, so we were doing the order db.order.true and order db.save. Okay, we were grabbing that order db actually. Okay, so order object, we were grabbing that order object. Okay, now what we need to do, what we will do here is, we will pass the context dictionary like this. So we will have order, right? So we will have that order with order db, right? Simple, it is simple. We have that order db object, so we will simply pass that order db object, and here we will pass the payment status, the payment status. I'm sorry, payment status with payment status. The payment status is already here, so this is also object. We will pass all this thing, right? we can loop through all that object, and if we need some basic see, if we need some values or some attributes from that objects, we can call them directly, right? So we were passing order db object and payment status. Now in the invoice.html, what we need to do, let's see, let's start from top. So we have invoice id, so invoice is there. So what we can do here, instead of this 123, and I'm writing this hash instead of this hash, I'm writing invoice id equal to, and in the, as you all know, it's like Jinja template tagging method. We are going to do, we are going to call that invoice id function. So we have that order id in the that object also, that payment status object also. So we can call that, so payment status dot order, as you can see here, order id is this, so we can call that order id itself, order id. Now let's see it is working or not. Yeah, it will definitely give you a error. Okay, cart is 0. Let's try to add some. Okay, so this is also the float. When we click on view more, it is redirecting. Actually, remember, we have accidentally stored the product description page instead of this login page, right? So that's why instead of that product description page, we have a login page seen here, right? So we need to change also this. Okay, so we will fix this in couple of seconds, but let us complete the invoice generation process, right? Okay, so in the localhost /admin, what I'm going to do, let me log in by my account itself. So customers. Okay, now we need orders, we need to grab that order object. See here, ordered equal to true, we can close this thing, we can remove this thing. So order is changed, that's why here 2 will be shown here, 2 will show here. Instead, let's log in by that test user. So test and test. Okay, so as you can see here, cart 2 is there, and when we click on this checkout, go for payment, this is the normal thing we normally do, right? Okay, so net banking, SBI, pay 15,000 and success, right? Okay, as you can see here, the object is getting called. So order HMA, all these things, and when you see this here in the, let's go to bottom here, order ID, we are calling that object likewise with its attributes, right? So order ID is appearing here, which should right? And similarly, that what we did about order ID, we will going to do with all of the rest of the details, right? So created is like this. So what we can do here, we can have that order ID. See, order was order, not order, we were passing the order object, right? So in the models.py file, let's see we have which attribute we have. So start date, maybe start date we can store, or simply we can store the order date, right? So order date in the invoice.html, we will simply call the order date, and here we will have date, right? And we will remove this div, we don't need this for now. This is important. Now in the Spark Suite inc, this is nothing but the company name. So company name, we can give it like Coding Katta itself. You can name it anything which is your firm, actually, which is your e-commerce firm. You can name that thing. Okay, so this is address. Now we have all that address. So what we can do here, we can simply call order in the models.py file. Order address was not there, checkout address was there, right? So in the payment status object actually address was there. So in the notes section, okay, we were passing for testing purpose, we need to call this checkout address here. Okay, so we need to call this checkout address equal to checkout address dot object dot get. We will get that user equal to request dot user, and we will pass this object checkout address object in the context dictionary, right? So checkout address equal to checkout address, and here in the invoice generation we can see checkout address dot, and we can grab all that values from that object, right? Likewise street address, right? So street address, we will grab that first, and then we will have after one space we will have checkout address dot we can call apartment address. Okay, this is just a demo, right? You can add anything, and in this, instead of the Sunny Village CA 12345, we can get that country and zip code, right? Depending on what values you are taking from the user, you can list them likewise, right? And country with zip code. So checkout address dot zip code was there, so zip code, and here we need to add checkout address, right? Okay, so instead of this Acme Corp, actually we have to do this. Okay, so instead of this, all, see, this is our firm which is generating invoice, right? So our address should come here. So here we should do it like suppose Mumbai, or Shalini Palace, Kolhapur. Okay, so I am adding the break tag, and simple after this we will have that value, suppose Maharashtra, India. And what we can do here, instead of this, we can have, we were passing the order object, right? So we were passing this order DB order object, so we can call the order dot user dot username. Okay, similarly we can call this thing checkout address, and we'll cut this from here, we will paste this here. Actually we will need this. Okay, so to whom you are generating, to whom of whom you are generating the invoice, that is important. So instead of this, we can actually also add the phone number. So payment status dot, as you can see here, where is that object, payment status object? So contact was also there, so contact, we can add this thing. Okay, it will appear here. And payment method was there. Instead of this check, we will add that payment status dot sorry, method was there, so method was there, and instead of this 1000 we will add payment ID. So payment status dot actually ID was there. Okay, so payment status dot ID, or you can call the RazorePay ID from order object also. So we remember we had that RazorePay ID in our order model also. So order RazorePay ID, payment ID, signature, you can do that thing also. Similarly, we have this item and price. So now we have to loop through all these things, right? Okay, we need to loop through all that things. So website design was there 300, so we don't need this. We will cut this thing. I think this contains the different values actually. And let's, so website design and price was the dollar. We don't want dollar here. Okay, now what we can do here, we can loop these objects, as much items as they are in the order, we can loop through that. Okay, so for item in order dot item dot all, I think item was there in, let's go to the models.py file. I think we had that. Okay, items was there. Okay, sorry, items was there in the invoice.py, items was there. So items dot all, and we will going to end for, simply we will go simply end for, and here in up at top of the tr with the total class, we will end our for loop. This is simple. You should know all these things up to this step, right? Up to this video we have covered this many times in our previous videos. So if you haven't seen the previous video, do check all the videos, and don't jump right onto the some specific video. If you know Django, that then there is no problem, not an issue actually. You can do that thing, but I recommend to watch from start, so you will get the proper understanding, right? So here what we can do, in the order item, remember we have ordered product quantity, right? So product was also there, so we have to grab that product name, right? So in the product we have the name, right? In the product we have name. So in the invoice.html page, we can call that object like item dot product dot, not price, here name will come. Okay, item dot product dot name. Okay, this is simple. And here rupees, we will have like item dot product dot price. Okay, this is simple. One thing we are missing here, so count should also be there. Let's try to add one td. Let's see if it works or not. So count, here in the td we can add item dot product. Okay, so in the models.py file, in the order item object, we have quantity. Okay, so we have quantity itself, so we can call directly the quantity value, right? We can call the value attribute, sorry, not value, attribute. Okay, so quantity and item dot product dot price, this should work properly. So this is price of one object, right? This was the price of one object. If you want to get price of the total object in the views.py file, where is that order list HTML page, you will get that thing. Okay, so in the order list page, what we were doing, we were calling the get total item price, right? So which actually had, okay, so get total item price, we can call that thing in the invoice. Let's see, we can call from item object also only. So item dot product dot price, instead of doing this, okay, so in the order, where is that order object, get total price was there, get total count was there, but we need to call get total item price, so which was actually the order item object, right? So in the order list page, let's see what we were doing. Okay, so actually we forgot one thing. Actually, this order item is actually each object, so we can call that functions also. So here, instead of doing this, we can simply call this, so item. So here what we were doing actually, so order dot items dot all, actually we are grabbing this order item. Okay, so we have all these products and all these things, that's why we were calling product dot name, product dot quantity, and all these things. Okay, so in the invoice.html page, we can call the name by item dot product dot name, quantity by item dot quantity, and simply we can call the function itself. So item dot get total item price. So this is just an object instance, and we are calling that function from this instance, right? So get total item price. Now this should work. Okay, so and we were completing the for loop. Actually this will loop as much as you are as much as how much products you have, how much items you have in your cart, right? And this is total, and instead of total we can write like rupees, and here we can call that total object. So order in the models.py file we had get total item price. No, sorry, not get total item, it was get total price. So we can simply call that. So order dot get total price. Now this should work. Let's see again. What I will do is I will open one incognito window, and in the incognito window I will log in by my admin user. So most of the times what it does, actually it logs in from different account, so it will be more simple for me to work with. So in the orders we have test, and here ordered equal to true. So let's save this. I'm just going to I'm just doing this for explanation purpose, right? So let's go to localhost and cart is 0. Okay, let's log in by that test user. I think most of the things you are getting already, right? We have covered so many times different things. So 15,800 is there. So we'll do the checkout process, go for payment, pay now. Test mode is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Let's give it anything, that doesn't matter actually. Net banking, SBI, you can do this anything, right? I'm not doing this. So success. Yeah, it should work. Okay, it is working actually. Although the UI is not good, but coding katta Shalin Palace, invoice order is here. So May 12 timing is also coming. So test. So this is the username, address. This is his address. India 494949. This was the pin code, and this was the number. Okay, so we have done this. Although some things are not in a proper order that they should be, but still we have this item count price. So item is price 15,800 was the total price, and boom, we have done this. We have generated one simple good looking invoice, right? Now what we can do here, we can add some break tag here to avoid the all text coming in the same line, so we can avoid that thing. So here we can add that break tag. So break tag, if you want, you can add the break tag here also, that doesn't matter actually. Let's try to add break tag. So break, okay, you can add this thing. Now this will come. We again need to reload this. So what I'm going to do, localhost admins, I'm showing you different aspects of how you can store your values in the invoice generation process, right? So Ravindra in the order we have test, we definitely order is equal to true because we have generated a successful invoice, right? So in the what we need to do here, so pay was coming, so order you remember order ID was here and invoice ID was here. Yeah, that is very perfect, right? And count was coming. I don't know how to fix that thing. So TD, for now what we can do, we can simply neglect this, or what we can do here, we can remove this thing, and I will show you one simple trick. So what we want is garden total item price, and here what we can do, in the parenthesis we can add the Jinja template, how much count you have. So in this we can call that count. So item dot quantity, we can call that quantity here, and similarly in the item we can simply call that item, because people will understand that yes, in the open parenthesis it is actually the count of how much items it is actually in the order object, right? That's what we want here. And the error should be the UI which is not looking with ugly, which will be resolved, right? And I am doing for last, so this is last invoice generation. So in the test, again order should be equal to true. Okay, so this is not working actually. Okay, let's see this. So let's go to the pay now. Okay, let's generate one thing. Okay, I'm closing all these things. I have logged in by test user, and similarly let's go to the cart. Cart is again 2. Go to the checkout process, go for payment, pay now. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 1 0. This is fake, this is not my number. Okay, so don't call me. So when we click on this success, invoice should generate. Cool, right? So garden toolkit with item quantity 1, we have Call of Duty Modern Warfare CDs, we have with quantity 3. Total price was 15,000, and all together the price is 15,800. Invoice ID is here, date is here, and what we need, and here remember we were adding that break tag. So this is the break tag actually, and done. We are done with this, right? And we can remove that break tag which is not looking very perfect here. We can remove this and add that break tag there. Okay, so with some space, and done. We are done with this. Okay, so payment method is net banking. Okay, so this is the invoice. We have generated this by some random, right? So we some random by passing the objects directly. Okay, and if we want here, what we can do at last, body in the div section, after this, we can add above body section we can add one button, right? So we can add this button with some on click functionality. We can simply name it as I don't think so it's a bootstrap. Okay, so bootstrap is not here, but let's see, button is there. So save PDF, right? So save, or we can add the print. Okay, and button, I think it should have on click property, and we will call one function here, or we can, or else we can do, we don't have button in the whole HTML page, so we can write some JavaScript here. So not JavaScript actually, script. We don't have to create some special script for this. We can simply write some function, write document dot get dot query selector. Okay, query selector should be there, and we can select by button itself. So button is actually one dot add event listener, which is click, and we will have one function. We will have one function, and here we will call the print. Let's see about call print in JavaScript, right? I think window dot print is there actually, window print method, window dot print, right? Beautiful. So window dot print. Now this should work properly. Let's style the div by giving something like text align center, so that button will come to center part. Okay, now one more thing we need to do. I'm just doing by going to localhost. So by Ravindra. Okay, so let's go to the order. Test order should be equal to true. We need to save that thing, uncheck that ordered, and now this should work. Okay, so localhost you will understand this what I am going to do. Have patience, right? I'm just fumbling many of the times, but that doesn't matter actually. Just remember all these things. These are some steps you need to understand, okay, to solving big problem. Okay, so document, what document does query print button is coming here actually. It is not working. Why? Oh, script. We have done script tag sorry for this. Script tag should be there. When we click on print, it should work. Okay, so print is working properly. It is loading the preview, and we have the save as PDF option. So when we click on this save as PDF, boom guys, so PDF can be saved, and when we hit on save and let's download it. Now this is most of the e-commerce websites actually does this type of process, right? Now for that we have that XHTML to PDF package of Python, which is really useful. So let's go to the using Python in Django, using XHTML to PDF in Django. So this is some function here, and we can really call this function, right? So what we can do here in the this is one way of doing this. This is also one way of doing this, and it's totally completely fine. In the views when we were doing this render and all these things, okay, so what we can do here actually in the views.py file, we have all these different things which should be work. We will create one function here which can be the helper function, okay, and this function is actually given in this, okay. So def render PDF, okay. So we will have this function here in the render template render PDF view, and here the template path will be invoice/invoice.html, simply, right? Simple. We need all these things, and context. This is actually context dictionary that we should pass here, and remember we were passing in the after the payment is successful, we were passing this order DB, payment status, and checkout address, right? And what we can do here, payment status should we cannot store that thing, okay. Let's see how we can grab that thing. So payment, we were grabbing that payment status by payment.capture method. So payment ID and amount was there, and payment, where is the payment ID? So razorpay.payment ID, we are storing that thing, right? So what we can do here, before render PDF view, we can have that the payment ID, right? So payment ID is equal to, and before that we need to grab that order object also, right? So I will just do this order object. We'll grab this order object like from here. Where is the order DB? Okay, so order DB equal to order object dot from get total. See, remember this actually is completed when we call that invoice generation. This actually is completed, right? So all these values should be stored in that, and then after that we are grabbing that object. So order DB, this should work definitely fine as we were doing already. So payment ID will be equal to order DB dot payment ID. So payment ID, I think payment ID was not there. Razorpay payment ID was there, so we can grab that value itself, right? So dot Razorpay payment ID, and this should work properly. Why it is giving error? So it is not giving error. Okay, now what we can do, we can grab that payment status object by amount and capture the payment ID and amount. So where is that? So payment, so what what's the value of amount was there actually? I don't remember. Amount. Okay, so order db dot get total price, and we were multiplying this. Okay, so amount and all this. Okay, so we are, I'm just copying this, and here what I'm going to do, let's fix that indentation error. So order db dot get total price, which will definitely work fine, and amount is equal to amount into 100, right? And this should work properly, right? And okay, so amount, and we were capturing the payment status here. And after doing this, the third thing that we were passing is actually let's see, order db was there, payment status was there, checkout address was there. Okay, so checkout address, we were just grabbing the checkout address of that user. We will do this likewise that we have done earlier. Okay, so here we will do the same thing, right? Checkout address equal to checkout address dot object dot get of that particular user, right? This is very simple. Now we will pass the thing. We can copy this thing actually. So here, see, we have done this such type of working many times, right? So you can copy paste this, but try to rewrite all these things. Okay, so it actually refreshes your mind again and again, and you remember the syntax most of the time. This is a really quick trick of remembering syntax by doing different things again and again and again, right? Doing the same things again and again, right? So checkout address is also there, and we can pass this context dictionary. So context type, application type is PDF. So this is there. What it does actually, it generates PDF. So this is a way of doing that. So if you have noticed earlier, we haven't installed XHTML to PDF. Okay, so we need to install in our virtual environment. Okay, so we will install this pip install XHTML to PDF. Remember the name. It will take some time and it will get installed, right? Okay, while it is installing, I will explain you. So it will generate one PDF, and this actually returns the PDF. When we open some PDF in Google Chrome or somewhere like that, it actually have some interface, right? So it will not going to download it downloading automatically. We will do that thing, but let's stick to this one actually. Okay, so if generated PDF has some errors, we will simply pass we had some errors and all that thing. And similarly, if error is not there, we will simply return the response. Okay, so link callback will not work here. So link back, let's cut this one. Okay, so dest is response, which is here. Context dictionary, where are we passing that context dictionary? Okay, so this should work properly. And payment ID amount, and let's try to run the server again. I hope this should work. So render PDF view, but what we need to do here is, we are generating the invoice HTML, but we need to redirect to that URL, right? So we don't have to remove this. Remember, in the URLs we had that invoice URL, so we can simply change it to, where is that render PDF view. We can simply change to this. Okay, so in the invoice.html, okay, in the URLs, let's cut this, and I have renamed that invoice to render PDF view, and you can name this anything. I have kept this thing as it is. Okay, so in the invoice.html page, what we can do, not in the invoice, sorry, in the views, we can redirect the user. We can actually redirect the user to that URL. Okay, so I will cut all these things. We will do return redirect to that URL. So URL is render PDF view. Now let's see if this thing works or not. Now we have to change the thing again. Okay, so in the test we need to change the order. I'm not adding the thing actually, so this is we need to do this. Okay, so localhost cart is 2 checkout. Go for payment, pay now. Order ID is not defined. Oh no, why? Where is the order ID? Oh, we haven't grabbed that order ID here. But where is it giving me? Okay. We are grabbing the order ID with the order ID, but where is that order ID? What we can do here, order.object.get, we will get the, not by ID, we will get the user, but we need that order ID. One thing we can do is request.session. Yeah, this should work actually. This should work actually. When we redirect this, we can say request.session. Suppose what is that? Order ID, actually it was order ID, no? Order ID is equal to the current order ID which is there. We can do this thing. Okay, so not semicolon. Request.session order ID. Now this should work, and if you want to grab that thing, order ID, we will simply call this function here. So in the render PDF view, what we can do, above this order ID is equal to request.session. Now this should work. Now this should work properly. Okay, although it is not the authentic way of doing this. In the same video, I am showing you two different things of generating invoice, right? Now this will help you in many of the projects that you will going to build, right? Definitely you are going to build. It will help you. Okay, payment, okay, has already been captured. This is also what we can say. So payment ID, we cannot access this. So what we can do here, we will do the same. So request.session, we will have payment status, right? And similarly, this should work. I think according to me this should work, but let's see if this thing works or not. After doing this, we will simply add the payment status itself. So payment, right, indentation error. Okay, so again the same thing that we need to do, test. Oh, get template is not defined. Actually get template is not defined because we haven't imported this thing. Okay, so in the XHTML to PDF there are some imports. We need to do these things. So let's copy all when we will import that thing. So we can import the things here also, but we will do it globally, right? We will do it globally. Okay, now this is last. Yeah, this should work properly. This is last thing. I'm not going to do it after this. Paste, please, this should work. Please. Okay, so report.pdf. Okay, let's download this. This should work. Let's download this PDF. So report PDF is generated. Let's see. Boom guys, it is working properly. Although the UI is not perfectly working, so it actually, the way it should render normally, it is not rendering like that. But as you can see here, in order ID, all these values, then see, all these values are getting generated. Okay, we will see this logo is not appearing, but this is not the condition. Actually, we are able to generate all these things. As you can see here, when you see it, I'm going to zoom it for a little bit. As you can see here, the amount is loaded. I don't know why the HTML PDF is not working properly, but still we have that chance. This is the order that we were able to generate, that was working properly. This is also the way I showed you different things. It depends on your HTML file. Okay, so in this case, it is not the problem of our working. Okay, our working was very perfect. It was problem of the HTML, and I don't know why it is not rendering properly, but as you can see here the values are getting loaded perfectly. Okay, so that's what we want. So this is just for learning purpose. Okay, we will not going to do this now. What we can do here, we can simply render that here. What we can do, I will comment this out here in the, where is that, checkout page, payment, render PDF view. What I am going to do, I am just commenting this out so that you can properly, when you look out to the code for this, you will have this code, right? So I'm deleting this. Okay, so I'm deleting this, and I will keep this code here actually for your reference purpose. Okay, so I'm just commenting this out. Okay, I'll keep this code, and we will go traditionally by clicking on print button. It will work, right? Okay, so in this video we have covered the invoice generation part, right? We were able to generate our invoice by the product, which is after the successful payment of that particular order. When user clicks on that download button, the PDF will be get downloaded, it will be get generated, right? And that's it for this video. If you like this video, then do share, subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to press that bell icon. Okay, if you are really liking this video, then actually do share to your friends, it will help them, right? And Django is not very complex language. It is just how you understand it, right? Just write it by doing, right? Just straight away move towards writing the code straight, like just not just don't focus on just copy and paste, right? Try to write by your own, and by doing this you will really get you will really understand all these things, right? So thank you for watching this video. I'll see you in next video.